And welcome back to the show. The Knowledge House is a social change organization that's empowering and sustaining a talent pipeline of technologists, entrepreneurs, and digital leaders who will uplift communities out of poverty. Now, since its founding, I should say, they've grown to serve nearly 2,000 people in New York. Here now to share a little bit more of the details is the Director of Programs and Partnerships at the Knowledge House, Constance Barnes. And Constance, good to have you back.
Good to see you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. And so as we are, congratulations. We're trying to move a little bit further out of COVID, but the work still continues for you. A little bit more about the Knowledge House and the work that you're doing presently.
Sure. As you mentioned, the Knowledge House has been around since 2014. We're in our 7th year, and this year we're expanding. So we're really excited to be moving out into Newark, Atlanta, and Los Angeles. So we're super excited to be reaching out to new partners, expanding, reaching more students and more adults, and providing access to technology in places where they haven't had it before.
And when we talk about this digital divide, obviously in communities of color, low-income neighborhoods, they seem to be the ones that are predominantly affected by this digital divide. And you're pressing your assistance out a little bit more.
And so when we talk about digital divide, I think that COVID has really pulled back the curtain and shown us what's really missing in our communities, right? And when we talk about digital divide, I think it's very broad, right? It's about basic digital literacy skills. It's about having access to technology. We know a lot of people didn't have Wi-Fi. So one of the great things at the Knowledge House, not only do we provide our students with laptops, we also make sure that they have Wi-Fi access, right? Because we know that if we want them to be successful in technology, we have to make sure they're equipped with the basics. And then to further close the digital divide, we provide them with mentors, with volunteers, with tutors, and at the very end of programs, they have internships in technology. So we are truly closing the gap from the beginning to the end to make sure that our students are set up for success in technology.
Not just technology, there are different areas that you're also trying to help them with financially, emotionally.
Exactly.
So give us a little bit about the emotional, because students come and they're trying to be the best they can, but sometimes their bandwidth is challenged.
That's right. That's right. And so one of our actually core values is having a growth mindset, right? And we try to encourage our students to develop that, inherit that, and really believe in that. But one of the great things about the Knowledge House that's different from a lot of boot camps, we have case specialists who work very closely with our students. So we work with students on issues, if they have issues with housing, if it's about immigration, if it's just about figuring out where your next meal comes from, because we know the populations that we serve, we work together to do that. Our case specialists meet with students monthly. They have phone calls in between just to make sure, again, that students, like you said, are set up for success completely. One of my main roles as the Director of Programs and Partnerships is to build out partnerships across the city and across the nation with other organizations who can provide some of that wraparound service for us.
Yeah. And I know also that you're pretty big on scholarships. You're providing scholarships as well for students.
Well, it's a fellowship. So our programs are free. That's the other thing that sets us apart from other organizations. Our programs are free and students get a stipend. So when you think about other places where you're paying to go to school and you have to pay for a laptop, we don't charge anybody anything if you meet the requirements. So for our high school students, they get a stipend in the summer. For our adult students, or our 18 years or older students, they get monthly stipends. So again, we are making sure that we're not just addressing one issue. We are looking at a holistic student and providing them with the support and the resources to truly be successful in our programs.
When we talk about helping out students, it's really 40% of American students sometimes drop out because of financial need. And so how important are these stipends and programs such as this?
Many students are faced with the cost of college that, when you're a first generation college student and you come from communities that have been underserved, college is daunting. You may start and then you find out you can't continue to pay for it. That's what sets the Knowledge House apart. Our programs are completely free. We're providing those stipends to help support people because we know one thing about working in technology is that you have to practice. right? It's not enough to just be in school and get the training. You have to have time to practice. But a lot of our students would need to work. So being able to provide those stipends allows them to maybe not work as much in those jobs that they would have had that are not related to tech, but actually be able to spend time working on their projects, developing apps, and doing more studies so that they can be ready for those full-time jobs at the end. So, we take away some of those costs that students would incur if they were going to colleges, if they were going to other programs who charge, or some programs actually take a portion of your income. So the Knowledge House is completely different, right? In that we're free and we're providing support. And like you mentioned, not just financial support, not just laptop support, but really wraparound support to make sure people are successful.
And as we are literally on the verge of summer, what can your students and what can the community expect?
Well, we are in the middle of recruitment season, so I'm glad that you asked about that. We are accepting applications for both our high school program and our adult program. Now, the cool thing about the high school program, it runs along the same time as the summer youth. So students would be in the program for July and August. They get a stipend. They learn some really cool things about tech. And what I love about the high school program is they get business skills, like you mentioned as well, right? So students who are in our high school program will come out at the end knowing how to really set up some cool websites, maybe help some of the businesses in our community to be successful, and have a skill that they can take with them for their lifetime. For our adult programs, we're also recruiting, so the applications are open, and we are looking, again, for people in all of our partner states, but of course, start right here at home.
Well, Constance, it's been great having you on the show again. Thank you. Continue the great work at the Knowledge House, and hopefully you have a great summer.
Thank you, you too.
All righty, Constance Barnes. She is the Director of Programs and Partnerships at the Knowledge House. Now, if you want more information, we encourage you visit their website at knowledgehouse.org. And we also tell you, please don't go anywhere. We've got more open coming up right after this.